One was demonstrating a blade, the other the smile of a patron enjoying a show. To the both of them, knock that shit off. Real-life violence is not like movie violence. Movie violence is most times preceded by lots of snappy dialogue from $20 million action star number 14 concerning how he's going to do some nasty things to the stuntman who's paid union wages to go down on cue. Real-life violence is mostly unescorted by tough guy remarks about driving somebody's nose bone up into their brain. In real life, violence is just very suddenly with you. Suddenly, the FTRA with the blade was slashing for me. And it was then that George Plimpton got up, angry, did work. George greeted the FTRA where his arm and hand joined. The wrist, technically speaking. George greeted the FTRA at the wrist, and the FTRA's wrist replied with a squeal and a deafening snap and a fountain of blood from where flesh got torn open by breaking bone. George swung around, catching FTRA in the face, across his cheek. What teeth weren't smashed from his mouth were driven through the skin of his jaw. FTRA 1 was done for the day. FTRA 2, who'd come to the party without shank or sharp object or goonie stick, gave me and George some fearful looking over. I said to him, "Got money?" The FTRA's head, poked like he tried to block buckshot with it, brittle skin peppered with a beard that wouldn't grow right, shook his head no. "Got food stamps?" The head, with its shitty excuse for a face, gave me no again. My eyes shifted away from the FTRA. In a flinchy style, he looked to where I was looking, the open door of the boxcar. Not a word spoken, but my meaning was clear. FTRA number 2 started in with some begging. "Please." One pitiful word. But at least he didn't sound the bitch Docker's boy did. Didn't matter. "Get out." "Please." George raised up. That was it for FTRA 2. He'd seen George Plimpton doing work. George Plimpton was not to be trifled with. Using what was left of his free will, FTRA 2 sailed himself into the dark that waited just beyond the door. The boxcar now de-FTRA'd, my attention was pulled by the sick whimpers of the yuppie scum. "Thank you." Those goddamn Dockers. And I'm pretty sure his shirt was Banana Republic. Got money? I wanted to know. On the floor of the boxcar, yuppie scum was just a little ball of confusion. "What?" "Got money?" "No." "Got food stamps?" "No, I don't." He was lying. Not about the food stamps. Yuppie scum didn't know a WIC coupon from a welfare check. But money? Those FTRA fuckers hadn't had time to roll him properly. They hadn't had time to get to his wallet, his cash, or his traveler's checks. Yeah, believe it. Goddamn yuppie scum caught out with traveler's checks. And this one had to go and pretend like I save his less than useless pink hide and he doesn't have the decency to compensate me? I grabbed at yuppie scum, grabbed his wallet, pulled it free, taking a swath of Dockers with it. Gripping his bloody moist BR shirt, I hauled him for the boxcar door. Knowing what was coming, he went spastic, flailing, clawing at me. All that gift wrapped in more of his girly yells. He'd made his choice. He'd picked lying over truth-telling. Couldn't he just take what was coming? George helped him with that. George knocked him limp. Out the door with yuppie scum. Into the night, into the howling air that swept past the rushing train. If not for the noise of the unit, the constant chatter of the couplings, It would have been quiet enough in the city-free nothing land west of Iowa to hear the coo of tall weeds petted by the night breeze, the hum of crickets and power lines as they sang at each other. It would have been quiet enough to hear if Yuppie Scum bitch screamed as he flew groundward, if his neck cracked when he hit terra firma from a train doing 60+, or if he just smacked earth, picked himself up, and hollered, "To hell with you, you nigger tramp," as he dusted his dockers off. Not knowing which was true, I imagined my reality of favor. I imagined Yuppie Scum's neck to be shattered beyond repair, not killing him, leaving him a quad for life, and I was happy for it. Yuppie Scum reproduced at a rate just slightly below fungus in a dark cellar. He would be replaced. He would not be missed. I know. I had been Yuppie Scum. I had been replaced in the world. No one missed me. With George, I returned to my corner of the boxcar, the other tramps and beaus not even daring to look our way. I went through Yuppie Scum's wallet. Shit. No money. He wasn't lying. Anyway, I was jangled and I needed some of Lady K to set me straight. Needed her. Just wanted her. Didn't matter. I had some of her. Calm down. George and I curled up together. I did not sleep. As always, I was scared to death of what waited for me just the other side of being awake. Charles stood, stared. He stepped back, stared, stared, stepped forward, stared, squatted, turned a little, stared some more. No doubt, it was there. No doubt about it. When he squatted, turned a little, he could see the dent just above the rear wheel well on the passenger side of his car. No paint gone, just a dent. You did have to pretty much stare to see it, and squat down. You had to be really looking for it. Most people would never even know it was there. No, care. But Charles knew. The knowing was an irritant, dull but constant. Prickly heat on flesh. So that meant getting the dent fixed. That meant driving cross town to the dealership in Santa Monica, but they weren't open weekends, so that meant taking the car in Monday to Friday from 10 to 4. I worked. Charles worked 9 to 5. That meant driving all the way from his office downtown during his lunch hour. Downtown to Santa Monica, and back, in an hour. Impossible. A breath from Charles. Shit. And it was new. That was the thing. A new BMW, a month old. Not even. How long had he wanted one? Never felt like he was driving what his colleagues expected him to without one. Didn't even have the thing a month. And then some asshole in the Ralph's parking lot had to go and back into it. Or maybe it was some asshole at Save-On. Or that asshole valet at the play at the Pantages he didn't want to go to. But Beverly did, so they went. A dent on his Beamer is what he had to show for it. Charles let down the garage door. It squealed. He'd fix it this weekend, he told himself. He'd been telling himself that 9 weeks running. Charles walked through the laundry room into the kitchen. No dinner cooking. Of course. Chinese tonight or Mexican. He had a taste for neither. He couldn't remember which he had more of last week. Picking, he settled on Mexican. Couldn't find the takeout menu. Ordered fried rice.